We're back on the Early Edge on CBS Sports Network. And Tom, we are just days away, 5 days away from college football week 0, which, by the way, means we're 17 days away from NFL regular season kickoff. So, Tom, it is our time right now. Let me just ask you right off the bat, before I get to a macro question, what are some players you're looking forward to seeing in college football week 0?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Kansas and quarterback Jalen Daniels. He's entering his senior season. Last year, he was inconsistent coming off an injury. I'll talk about Kansas a little more here in a minute, but I think they're an interesting team in the Big 12. Still have Lance Leopold as head coach. Offense should be good. So I'm interested in seeing him against Fresno State. And how about Maverick McIver? Listen, some guys are just named to play quarterback. Jackson Dart, Maverick McIver. Like, if you have a kid named Maverick McIver, he's playing quarterback. He comes to Western Kentucky with his offensive coordinator, Rick Bowie from Abilene Christian, where McIver threw for almost 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns last year. He's getting a Sam Houston team who had a good year last year, but just completely retooling their defense. All 11 starters are gone. The Western Kentucky team total just came out this morning of 35.5. That's a number I'm looking at. I think we're going to see a big debut from Maverick McIver.
Very, very interesting. All right. Well, let's talk about, one thing at the Early Edge and SportsLine we do like to mention often is responsible betting. I know we've got week 0 coming up and there's a handful of games, but how would you recommend people approach this first set of games?
Yeah, I look at week 0 kind of like the NFL preseason. Like, okay, football's here. We can bet on it. Now, if there's something you like in the preseason, bet it. If there's something you like in week 0, bet it. But don't bet just to bet. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Last year, Georgia Tech, 9.5 against Florida State. I loved it. I was like, wow, that is a big number for that game. You look at it this year, I think the numbers are pretty tight. There's not a lot of value in that Iowa State, Kansas State game. So, yeah, you're going to want to get in there. You're going to put a few bucks on, but just remember, we're 7 days away from the full slate. So take it easy. If you find a game you like, bet it. But with only 5 on the slate, don't go too crazy.
All right. Well, let's try to find games you do actually like for week 0. And let's start with Iowa State, Kansas State. Anything you like from a side or total perspective there?
Yeah, this is a really tough game to call. I mean, you're getting, two teams that I have rated pretty evenly coming into the season on a neutral field. I lean Iowa State. I liked them better when they were getting 3.5. You got 12 starters back from an 11-win team. And, Iowa State just isn't sexy, right? They're not a sexy team. They grind it out. So, right now the line's 3. I could see some Kansas State money coming in too when more people start betting the game. I lean Iowa State. I expect a really tight competitive game, but I would play the waiting game here and see if you can get it back up to 3.5 before you strike.
All right. Talk to me about Fresno State, Kansas. It sounded like you had more to say about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, so the market moved to Fresno State. It was Kansas was 14, now it's 12.5. I'm just not buying the move. This isn't Fresno State that we're used to seeing. Okay, they're starting from scratch. They hired Matt Entz at North Dakota State. He's changing both the philosophy and the culture. He wants that to be, a power run team. But the problem is he's basically starting over from scratch. Fresno's replacing 70% of its offensive production, 8 starters on defense. They bring in E.J. Warner, who's been at like 6 different schools. He's got 37 career interceptions in 3 seasons. I just don't know if he's the answer. And like I mentioned, Kansas finished 5-7 last year, but they lost 5 games by 6 points or less. And at the end of the year, they were the hottest team in the Big 12, beating Colorado and BYU. So I'm a little bit higher on Kansas than the market. It's 12.5. I'm going to get greedy. I'm going to wait for 12 to see if more Fresno State money comes in. But I think I had the number more around the original number of 14. So I see some value with the Jayhawks.
Talk to me about value with Hawaii, because, Tom, I think if people look at this game and they're just like a casual college football observer, they'll think, okay, Stanford, Hawaii, Stanford must be favored by a little bit. But it's actually Hawaii that's favored by just under a field goal, around 2.5 here at BetMGM. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, so we saw the line move in this game. Stanford opened up a small favorite, and then money came in on Hawaii. It wasn't surprising. The first bet I gave out this college football season was Stanford under 3.5 on their win total. I mean, the program's in shambles right now. They fired Troy Taylor for off-the-field stuff. They bring in Frank Reich as kind of a stopgap. their roster lacks talent, experience, depth. I think this is going to be a long, long season for Stanford. Now, when I did my win total, this was kind of like a toss-up game. If they lose this, I mean, I don't see how they get to 4 wins. But Hawaii at home. There's a lot of people like them as a sleeper. I just think Stanford's in for a long season. I would take Hawaii on the money line. Get rid of the 2.5, and just I do think it'll be a close game, but I think Hawaii gets the win at home, and I think Stanford would be lucky to get 1 or 2 wins this season.
Yeah, I know you like that under 3.5. That game, by the way, on CBS. So check that out. Stanford, Hawaii. Thank you, Tom. And you can also check out Tom on the Early Edge. That's on the SportsLine YouTube channel as well. Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock, again, on the SportsLine YouTube channel. Everyone, have a great Monday. We'll see you next time on the Early Edge.